Good morning. Today we're talking about credit, and not the credit scores you need to qualify, but credit myths being busted.
Let's get to it.
Good morning,
and welcome to your Thursday morning coffee break.
Starring
Ashley Gatlin, Realtor Extraordinaire.
and Sean Morrissey, your friendly neighborhood loan officer.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. And as Sean mentioned, we are busting credit myths. So before we get into that, let's just identify where we're at as far as the season of the market, the housing market. Summer's winding down. We are coming into those off months of October, November, December. So we want you guys to use that time wisely. We do guide you to reach out, check with Sean, see where your credit's at so we can identify when you're ready to buy.
Exactly.
That you get that property you want.
Yeah, we want you in the best position possible. So let's
All right.
get to busting these myths.
Bust some myths. So myth number one. Tell me, Sean, a hard credit pull will hurt my score somewhere between 40, 50, or 60 points.
Busted. This is actually a good one because this is typically the most cautionary step, I would say, with buyers, is that they're a little weary of the hard credit pull. A hard credit pull for mortgage purposes, because all hard inquiries are coded different. If you're looking for an auto loan, it's coded for that. If you're looking for a mortgage loan, it's coded for that. But the hard inquiry hurts you about 4 to 6 points. So it is very minimal. Now, can that matter if you're right on the precipice? Of course, but the information that the full credit report tells us is much more valuable than a 4 to 6 point ding. The other thing is that once you get your credit pulled for mortgage purposes, you have a 30-day window to continue to have hard credit inquiries for mortgage purposes, and they do not continue to hurt your score. So that is one thing. If you're interested to shop and you're like, man, I got to narrow it down to only 2 or 3 lenders because if I apply with 10, my score is going to be 0.
Mm-hmm.
Not the case. Once it's pulled once, you have a time window to keep applying, and you can talk to lenders about that, work with lenders, and then kind of compare, not only interest rates, but fees, things of that nature to make sure that you're in the best spot and working with someone that you trust.
Awesome. Myth number 2, I need to keep my credit card balance below 30% in order to help my score.
Busted! It's gonna be fun. So although, yes, keeping your credit card balances below 30% is better than, say, at 50% or at 60%. And what we're talking about here is the availability of credit to you, or what they call the usage of credit. So if you have a line of credit with a Wells Fargo credit card of $10,000 and you're using, in this case, 30% being, $3,000, just over that, then you're in this window of, yes, you still have $7,000 of credit available to you, but there's still not quite as much as if it was at 0, right?
Okay.
So that is better than had you used 50% or more. Those can actually start to degrade your credit if you use too much. But less than 10% is actually the number we want everyone to know. So it's not below 30, it's below 10%. And ideally, just keep them as low as possible so you have the available credit to you. That is what can benefit your score.
Right, and what I took from that is if you're questioning this or you're not sure where you're at, go ahead and reach out to Sean because he's more than happy to have those conversations and help guide. All right, myth number 3, you will continue to pull my credit throughout the mortgage process.
Busted! So a hard credit inquiry at guaranteed rate for your for your credit report for mortgage purposes is good for 120 days. So a lot of times in conversations with me and Ashley, we might say, hey, your pre-approval is good for about 90. The reason why it's kind of a little bit of a moving target is because that it's not a pre-approval is good for 90, it's that your credit is good for 120, and most contracts close in about 30 days. We can go quicker, sometimes a seller might want longer. So the real kicker is that if you apply on January 1st, you have 120 days before we would need to close and fund that loan. And if not, then we do have to pull your credit again.
We got one more myth for you guys. Paying a credit repair specialist is never worth it.
Busted! And these are fun to make because they all have small caveats.
Yeah.
I will say that paying for certain credit repair companies is not worth it. And unfortunately, you don't really know until you're into it because it becomes not worth it when they string you along. So you want to make sure that you're working with a credit advisor, and Ashley and I have a fantastic one who has a business model that is not set up to keep you paying them.
Mm-hmm.
This gentleman's business model is set up to raise your credit as quickly as possible. What he tells his clients is that everything can be fixed in about 3 to 6 months. Now, does that mean you have an 800 at the end of 6 months? No. But it just means that at the end of 6 months, you have the knowledge and tools to continue on the correct path, and you no longer need to pay for his services. So his business model is to impress you, wow you, help your credit, get you on the right path, and then you refer more people to him. And that's how he makes money. I've worked with clients before who tell me, oh, I've been doing credit repair with XYZ company, usually these big nationwide companies, and I've been doing it for 2 years. So you've been paying monthly for 2 years and your credit still isn't where it should be. That means it's on the back burner for them.
Right.
You're not a priority. Their business model is to keep you paying, not fix it, impress it, and get referrals from it. So that is where I would say paying for a mortgage advisor for the correct one is absolutely worth it. And again, the gentleman we use gives our clients a discount and things of that nature. Wealth of knowledge, fantastic team, online portals of tracking things and whatnot, but he's going to be able to guide you and kind of address items on your credit report that are fixable, identify ones that aren't fixable, and not wasting time on the ones that aren't and just string you along for pay.
Yeah.
So
that's what we got for you guys today.
Yeah.
We hope that you've left this episode with a little bit more knowledge than you had. As always, we're here to be a resource. We're here to provide transparent information and guide you to obtain whatever real estate goals that you guys have. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, so reach out early and often. Let's talk about credit. If you're in the right spot already, great job. Credit's a fickle thing, and so that's something to be proud of. And if you're on the lower end, well, credit's a fickle thing. So let's talk about it. Let's get you there, and let's help you get into the dream home.
Cheers.
Cheers. Have a happy Thursday.